Alright everybody, welcome back! So we got the Tornado GR.4 here today, and this is another one of those strike-focused aircraft that have been the theme of this entire update. You know what, with the F-15E, the SA-34, and of course the Tornado as well. Now of course, like I said, this is a strike aircraft, and ideally you would never use it in air RB, you would only use it in ground RB, but unfortunately, realistically, the only way you're going to be able to grind the modifications to be able to use it in tank RB is in air. And of course my channel is focused on air anyway, so I figure we may as well start here. And well, of course it's not that great in air RB. It has a couple big advantages over the preceding Tornado GR1. The biggest of which you probably noticed in the background is the fact that it actually gets access to the AIM-9M, and this is a very substantial upgrade over the AIM-9L. It has the exact same kinematics, just in case you weren't aware, but the big upgrade is the fact that it actually has higher CCM of the suspension variety in this case. This is very important because even with the earlier Tornado GR1 at 11.7, basically everything you fight is going to have flares, and the AIM-9L is not nearly as flares-resistant as it used to be. So in many cases with the earlier Tornado GR1, you would fire your missile to just get one flared. Now in the case of the AIM-9M, what it does is it shuts off its seeker head until flares pass out of its field of view and then turns itself back on. So especially side aspect, but in general, the AIM-9M is going to be much more capable of actually, maintaining track on a target while they're flaring. It's also smokeless, so in modes without a marker, say for example if we decided to go ahead and try and grind this thing out in air sim, most of the time people are not going to be able to see the AIM-9M coming, and they're just going to eat the missile straight to the face because it is incredibly hard to see. Now in air RB it's whatever because you get that, missile diamond around it. And the next big upgrade is what you just saw in the background letting me get that kill against the F-111F, and that is the HMD. With a plane that has as much of a brick as the Tornado, being able to shoot at stuff that your nose isn't actually on is a massive deal. And sure, even though you only get 2 AIM-9Ms, this is one of those planes where I would say the HMD actually has a huge impact on your ability to actually do anything in the game. In the background, you're going to see me trying the dogfight in this thing, and the Tornadoes did have their flight performance increase somewhat, so I wouldn't have been able to do this at all, a few months ago, back before they changed the Tornado flight model, but it's still not all that great. It can somewhat keep up with stuff like Phantoms, for example, but at 12.3, a lot of the time you're going to be fighting 4th generation aircraft, such as the F-16, the MiG-29, and the like, and they are going to just easily obliterate you in terms of flight performance. Compared to the earlier Tornado GR1, you actually do get better engines, as you can see right here, and the entire way across the thrust curve, they do have more thrust. You are also a bit heavier, to be fair, but you have an overall increase in thrust to weight ratio, so it's felt a bit better than the Tornado GR1, for me at least, in air. Unfortunately, you do lose out on one of the 27mm guns. You only get one, and while it's fine, it does have some nice high velocity. Personally, I felt that the damage is pretty hit or miss on this gun. It gets the job done, but I would much rather have 2 of them just because of that somewhat lackluster damage. Another thing that Gaijin changed recently is actually the countermeasure pods. If your priority is chaff, say for example in ground RB, you can actually get 1200 pops of large caliber chaff, plus an additional 56 pops of whichever countermeasure you prefer. You can also bring, 2 pods of the 240 normal countermeasures instead, or mix and match, whatever your preference is. So in the background, you're going to see me using what is by far the big feature of this aircraft, and that is its much improved CAS ability. Now, starting off with, I'm using these PGM 2000s, but they're a little bit different than the one that we're used to on the earlier Tornado and the Mirages. So Gaijin went ahead and added something called the PGM 2000 and 500/3. And basically what that means for War Thunder is that it has a much improved seeker head now. It actually has an infrared seeker, just like the KH-38MT, and actually looking at this, as far as I can tell, the actual seeker stats on the two are basically identical. The only difference I could find that would affect locking is the fact that the PGM 2000 version has a gate width of 0.1, but that's the exact same as the normal field of view, so it wouldn't actually affect literally anything. It's kind of weird. So this means that you get a rocket-assisted 2,000-pound bomb with an infrared seeker, basically the same as the KH-38MTs, which is pretty awesome. The problem is that the rocket is incredibly weak, and so the thing is incredibly slow. And slow is kind of a running theme of basically everything in this video, because the Brimstone, which is what I am actually using right now, is also incredibly slow. Now, the Brimstone, there was a lot of controversy over Gaijin's decision to, go ahead and make it laser guided purely. So for context, the Brimstone in real life has a radar seeker head, just like the longbow Hellfires, if y'all are familiar. And that would have meant that it could have gone straight through smoke, which currently no guided munitions at top tier can actually go straight through smoke. Sure, if someone smokes up too late, sometimes the inertial guidance will carry it through, but if someone smokes up and moves, it's not going to be tracking through the smoke. I'm going to be honest with y'all, and this will probably get me into some hot water with some of y'all, but I fully agree with Gaijin's decision not to go ahead and add them as radar seeking. I think that would have been horrible for the game. CAS is already more than strong enough, and that was not needed. Now, what I don't necessarily agree with is how they decided to just make it the secondary laser guidance only. Personally, I would have said, go ahead, give it a TV or IR seeker, like the Mavericks, for example, and just be like, hey, we're doing this as a temporary thing because we think that radar's guidance is too strong. As it currently stands, the only fire and forget ordnance that this thing gets are those PGM 2000s, which, as previously mentioned, are incredibly slow and are also very easy to see coming in because they leave a massive trail of white coming behind them. When it comes to the Brimstones, you basically have to fire them one at a time because they are so incredibly slow. If you try doing like you can with Hellfires, for example, on a helicopter and firing them a few seconds apart to let you go ahead and salvo them, what happens instead is, because you're closer when you fire the rest of them, the next missiles impact at almost the same time as the previous one. And while the Brimstones do have some incredible range, if you check the bottom right, I'm getting over 13 kilometers right now, and it can be more depending on speeding out. It's time limited. You're still going to be needing to do that terminal guidance against people with the laser, and when you have Pansier shooting at you, that can be very difficult. There's also the fact that, well, a lot of the time you're going to be shooting at somebody and they're just simply going to die before your missile gets there, and you'll have spent 30 seconds guiding in a Brimstone for nothing. Meanwhile, in other top tier options like the F-15 or the SU-34, you can fire off your Mavericks or KH-38s and just have them all guiding in on different targets simultaneously. Don't get me wrong, the Tornado GR.4 is definitely a massive improvement over the earlier Tornado when it comes to CAS. The targeting pod in particular is an absolutely gigantic improvement. I'm pretty sure this is the best targeting pod in the game at this moment. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but just look at this. Absolutely stunning zoom. I'm still 5 kilometers away, and the resolution as well is very good. It also makes a great combo with the British Gripen, and remember, since this is classed as a strike aircraft, the spawn points required to actually go ahead and spawn this won't dig into the Gripens, or vice versa. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know a specific person who has been pestering me to make a Tornado video for the better part of probably 6 months is going to be extremely happy to see this, and I hope the rest of y'all are as well. If there's anything else that you'd like to see from the update, please let me know in the comments down below. I've been busy with work, which is why I haven't been able to make stuff, but I'm kind of torn on what I want to do next between the SE-34 and the Premium Viggen, or anything else you'd like to see. To be quite honest, I don't really want to play either one of them, but hey, what you gonna do? In any case, once again, hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all have a great day, so I'll catch y'all next time. Peace, y'all.